Hi, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. Thank you for joining us. My name is Ashley King, and I'm part of the customer success team here at Tax 990. We are an IRS authorized e-file provider that helps nonprofits easily and securely file their Form 990 returns online. Our platform is designed to simplify the filing process, save organizations time, and help them stay compliant with IRS requirements. Today, we're excited to continue our grant writing webinar series with the second session, Finding Grants to Support Your Mission. This is the second of 4 webinars designed to help nonprofits build a strong foundation in grant writing and funding opportunities. I'm also excited to introduce today's presenter, Mary Louise Resch, Senior Disaster Recovery VOAD Coordinator and a Senior Certified Grant Specialist. Our team had the pleasure of connecting with Mary at the Together SC conference earlier this year, and we're thrilled to have her share her knowledge and experience with us today. Mary, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ashley. Welcome back, everyone. For those of you who I haven't met previously, my name is Mary Louise Resch. I have been doing this for a few years, so it's nice to be back. I hope everyone is ready to take some notes and have some fun for the next hour, because last time we talked about different resources where you could find grants, like libraries, Grant Watch, Grantable, grants.gov, Chamber of Commerce, Small Business Administration. Well, this time we're going to drill down a little further on those resources. And some of these may be familiar, some of them may not. And although I'm in South Carolina, a lot of these same resources fund across the country. So keep that in mind as we go forward. I may be asking you to put some notes in the chat, so be prepared to participate, and let's go. All right, last time, like I said, we talked a lot about grant resources, but this time we're actually going to drill down a little further. The first types of grants that most people are familiar with are federal, state, and local grants. Federal grants, you can go to grants.gov. It's a free subscription. As I said last time, you were able to go in and subscribe and actually add in keywords, and those grant notices will start coming to you. Also, one of the things that nonprofits forget to do is sign up for their state's procurement list. And you're going, well, what does procurement and grants have to do with each other? As a matter of fact, I actually got 2 notices last week where the state of South Carolina was looking for someone to manage some grants for them. So again, don't think that because you are a nonprofit organization and not a for-profit business that the state would not want to do business with you. So again, you want to go online and you want to learn where you're and become a state vendor so you can start getting those notices. Local governments as well. You need to go to their website. Some types of typical local government grants include hospitality tax money and accommodations tax monies that help promote tourism in local communities. But you don't know if your community has those unless you do the research. So that's one area. Also, when I go into a community to do work, the first thing I do is I drive around the town and I look at who the major employers are in the community. I also go to the local Chamber of Commerce website to see what corporations are located in a specific community. And here's a hint. Corporations do not always put their information right up front on their giving programs, but here's a hint. If you go to the bottom of the page, there's always a tab that says About Us. If you click on that, more times than not, that's where their giving programs are hidden. So as we get into this, let's talk about some major corporations that might be in your community. And I'm going to ask you to put some suggestions in the chat, and we'll get started. While I'm waiting for you to fill in, one of the first ones I want to talk about is Bank of America. Bank of Americas are pretty much across the country now. And the best thing I can tell you to do is, if you are a Bank of America customer and your nonprofit is a Bank of America customer, go in and meet with your local branch manager. Those people have a lot to say about where the money comes and goes in their communities. Also, Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo has a large giving program. Both of those banks fund things for veterans. They fund projects with housing, particularly affordable housing. They do major gift giving. I know that Bank of America and Wells Fargo both partner with groups like Habitat for Humanity to help build homes in local communities. We also have worked with some of these groups in a disaster form, and I see some folks from Texas. And good morning from Oregon. Tom, welcome aboard. But again, think about who your banks are. TD Bank. We talked about Wells Fargo. Just go around your community, and the best place to start is with the bank that you already have a relationship with. Other corporations. Capital One, Fein, perfect answer. Capital One does do grant programs. And again, talk to your local branch manager. That's a place to start. Then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to go to their website and start researching. We have Truist Bank that's also here. And don't forget about your local credit unions. Credit unions also have giving programs. And again, think locally, plan globally. How about Amazon? Anybody shop on Amazon recently? Amazon actually has a large corporate giving program. They do grants. Some examples of grants that we've received in the past are in-kind grants and cash grants. How about everyone's favorite Walmart? I think every community in the country probably has at least one Walmart within driving distance. But Walmart, for example, each store is mandated by their corporate headquarters in Bentonville, Arkansas, to contribute X amount based on their sales back into the local community where they're located. So, and I'm not going to lie to you, the Walmart platform to apply is not the easiest platform to work. But once you get registered, there are 3 different programs within Walmart. For example, have you ever wondered how the Girl Scouts get all those great places out in front of stores? By registering with Walmart's portal, you can sign up for a store of your choice. Say you're going to do a community education program and you want to do it in front of your local Walmart. You can sign up for a specific Walmart for a specific time on their giving page. I know a number of you use volunteers to support your program. Do you use Walmart associates as volunteers? Or do you have someone who is either one of your clientele or serves on your board that comes in volunteers and works at Walmart? Walmart has what they call their Volunteerism Always Pays program, or VAP program. And they can assign up to, I believe it's $250, 10 hours of time, and $250 per volunteer to support your program. The way that works is they come out and volunteer. They go into their employee portal, enter the hours. Walmart will come back to you and ask you to verify those hours. Once you verify those hours, you will receive the funding. And then finally, did you know that each Walmart store can provide grants of up to $5,000 per store? And I think they allow you only to apply, I want to say 15 stores now. Back in the day, I was applying for like 38 different Walmarts in my local community that we supported. So again, you don't know what you don't know. And Walmart is only one example. Publix. I happen to be working with one of the local food banks here. They're in the process of receiving a $300,000 gift to help repair their building. In addition to Publix, Food Lion, and I know some of you further west may not know what a Food Lion is, but it's also another one of our chains here in the South. Same things with Wegmans, I believe, is in New York. Look around your local groceries, particularly like Walmart. One of their priorities is veteran affairs. When I was working for a food bank here in South Carolina, they actually provided us with the first $75,000 for our Operation HP, which stands for Hunger Project, which was our military feeding program. Most people didn't realize that there are people on active duty in the military that still qualified for SNAP benefits. So again, look at what their priorities are. Other major corporations, somebody want to add some in the chat? Who are the largest employers in your communities? Think about it for a minute. Y'all are shy this afternoon. How about construction companies, home builders, and actually the local Home Builder Association, BMW, thank you, Alice. BMW has a grants program. Texas Instruments, local government, the local school district, HEB, another good grocery partner. All of these are good potentials for your grant program. So again, how about, do you ever hear of a little group called American Express? I know if we have any business people on here, American Express does cash grants, and in addition to the cash grants, they also do 1 year of free FedEx shipping for their grantees. And if you're doing anything where you're doing mailings on a regular basis, that savings alone can be significant for your organization. How about communities? Do you have local community foundations in your area? Here in South Carolina, we have probably about a dozen different community-based foundations that serve specific parts of our state. So if you are a local funder or a local program, look at who the closest community foundation for your area is. And again, you're going to hear me say this over and over again. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And thank you, Courtney, for adding Waccamaw Community Foundation. They are a great community partner. They've actually been doing some work on disaster recovery with us in the past. And Dallas and Texas Historical Foundation. For those of you that are doing historic preservation projects, like our archives and histories department with the state have grants. Also, the county government does historic preservation work. And Candace, you've got some good opportunities. Community Foundation of Texas. But again, it's going to take a little bit of research. We've recently, as I said earlier, we've done a lot of research for our constituency here in South Carolina, and we've come up with a list of grants that run somewhere into 2027 right now. So again, getting to know who those groups are. In addition to communities, families. How many of you know of a family in your community that has a family foundation? Here we have several. We have the Nord Family Foundation. And that's just one example, but we also have one of the unique things about family foundations is, anyone want to guess in the chat when their deadlines typically are during the year? Think about families. When do families get together? When do you typically see families? December, rolling deadlines. Rolling is good, but you'll see a lot of family foundations that will have their deadlines around September and October. And again, it's because, Amir, you hit it spot on. A lot of families have their, quote, board meeting, end quote, at Thanksgiving dinner. First they pass the turkey and then they pass around the proposals, because this is when families tend to get together. So again, it depends on the foundation. Do your research. Look in the local foundations and see when their deadlines are. And a couple of you made a good point. There are some foundations that have rolling deadlines, or they are open all year long. And particularly those for healthcare matters, I've seen a lot of those that are open. Family foundations are another good example. Lipscomb Family Foundation, they fund here in South Carolina, but they're out of Colorado, I believe. So again, look at who those family foundations are in your local community. How many of you out there are sports fans? I know I am a big WNBA fan. And as many of you may know, Asia Wilson is from here in Columbia, South Carolina, and she has a giving program. Dallas Stars, another good example. Look at who your professional hockey team is, football team, basketball team. Even some of the minor league teams have giving programs. And if they don't have a giving program, like the Charlotte Hornets right up the road in North Carolina, they bring in nonprofits on a regular basis, and they give that group tickets. But what they also do is give that nonprofit time during a major timeout to pitch for their agency. So it's another way to get funding into your organization. Golf, perfect example. Tiger Woods Foundation. Tiger Woods Foundation is like supporting children's activities, particularly sports activities. I see Frisco Rough Riders, good example. Also, I don't know if we have any NASCAR fans here, but during the 1,000-year flood a few years ago, the Joey Logano Foundation wrote an unsolicited grant check to the largest food bank in the state for $10,000. So keep in mind, Michael Jordan has a foundation. Again, it's a way for these professional athletes to give back to their community. I keep wanting to say next slide. I'm actually the next slide. All right. So we talked about Community Foundation, Central Carolina Community Foundation, Bank of America, Wells Fargo. Also, there are within some of the hospitals, when hospitals are sold, particularly nonprofit hospitals, get sold to a for-profit business. And actually, a lot of the hospitals that are for-profit businesses here in South Carolina, we have Prisma Health, we have Lexington Medical Center. And both of those have corporate giving programs. Look at who your local hospitals are. Especially those of you that are working in the areas of public health and wellness. It's a great partnership. Lexington Medical Center is working with the local agency to provide low salt, low sugar boxes to low to moderate income families to do diabetes treatment and prevention. Questions so far? Think a minute. I want you to go around in your mind, in your community for the next couple of minutes, and I want you to put in the chat one funder that you're going to do some research on between now and the next session. Faye, I'm just going to have to hire you. Local hospitals. One of the things that I did when I was a development director is I took my information folders and met with every financial advisor that I could in our local community, because at the end of the year, people need to make some decisions about whether to pay taxes or make charitable contributions. And it's a whole lot easier to have those packets there, because we come in and we brief the financial advisors. And then when the financial advisors are briefing their clients, they have some solid options that they can present to their clients. I'm seeing some credit unions. I'm seeing a Stryker Foundation. Just about any business in your community, whether they're a home builder. We talked about the Home Builders Association having a grant program, but a lot of the major home builders, we have Berkshire Hathaway, we have Mungo Homes, we had McGuinn Homes. All of them had a funding foundation. American Airlines, also Carnival Cruise Line. Carnival Cruise Line will do in-kind contributions of tickets to on future cruises for charitable events. I'm seeing some great ideas. United Airlines as well. But again, it's look at your community. It's going to have to be something as simple as going to a chamber event. And I used to always get the question, well, why does a nonprofit want to go to a chamber meeting? And the answer to that is very simple. It's where the businesses are. And people will say, well, why is that important? Because businesses write checks. Most do require a C3 status, although I am finding out that there are some that you can be another nonprofit, but not necessarily a C3. That's why it's so important to check on each of these different potential funders to see what their requirements are to apply. I've actually seen several in the last couple of months that said nonprofit, but not necessarily a C3, which included like a C4 or C6. Local chambers of commerce. There were several. I recently was on the National Chamber website, and they had some grant money available. So again, think about who you have in your community. Churches, most major denominations have some type of giving program. Here's some samples of who we partner with. We work with Dominion Energy. Any energy company that you have in your area, typically they will have a corporate giving program. We work with Duke Energy. We work with Dominion Energy. We work with several of the energy co-ops. So trying to bring in those energy programs. And not only do they have grant money, but if you're serving people who are having a hard time paying their utility bills, they also have specific programs that can help cover those bills as well. Most of them call it, at least here in South Carolina, their Operation Roundup program. I mentioned Berkshire Hathaway earlier. Not only do they own some real estate companies here in the state, but when Dominion Energy bought what was known as SCENG, Carolina Gas Transmissions, which is a Berkshire Hathaway company, purchased some of the pipelines, and they monitored pipelines. They do not only grants, but I don't know if there's anybody from any habitats here, but when I worked for Habitat, what they did is once a year, both Dominion Energy and Carolina Gas Transmission will go through their fleet vehicles, and instead of sending them to auction, they will make an in-kind gift of a construction or a business truck to nonprofit organizations. That saves you from having to buy. You see a lot of coastal community foundations. For those of you like me that work in the disaster realm, one of the newest partners that I got to know pretty well is the Center for Disaster Philanthropy. This is a nationwide foundation that manages corporate donations. We've been working with them throughout Hurricane Helene recovery, and most recently they were able to bring $300,000 into the state to do continuing disaster recovery work. So again, looking at who these funders are, who the state agencies are, and believe it or not, there's other nonprofits out there even that have grants. For Hurricane Helene, the American Red Cross was giving $150,000 per community to start a long-term recovery group. So again, just having these groups on your radar. Let's talk for a minute about some business-oriented grants. The feds have something called the SBIR, Small Business Innovation Research Grants, and Small Business Technology Grant Programs. With all of the changes in technology these days, particularly in the realm of AI, and I just saw something that came across from the Small Business Administration this morning about having the availability of funding. And I'll be honest, I had heard of Small Business Administration before, but I really didn't know what they did. But what I came to realize is not only do they have loans and grants for businesses, but they also have things like mentorship programs. So take advantage of those resources because your tax dollars have paid for them. For those working in the substance abuse field, there is a ton of grant opportunities out there right now through NIDA. Please go to grants.gov and check them out. They have lots of research opportunities and prevention and treatment opportunities as well. Rural Energy for America, and some of these grants, they will contract or expand depending on what the administration priorities are. But again, this is where signing up for grants.gov will assist. The child care industry, a good place to start there are the family foundations, because most of those foundations come from a specific family and have a passion. We see a lot. Hospital foundations are also a good resource. Somewhat related also are insurance organizations like AFLAC. Everybody knows the duck, but did you know the duck gives away money in almost every state? We have Colonial Life, which is a Unum company out of Maine. They give, every year they have a giving program. And what's really nice about their giving program is that they will actually help you write the strongest grant proposal you can. Endangered species, yes. Actually, I saw some things. Department of Interior not too long ago actually had some grant opportunities for endangered species. We have a group here within SCOR that actually we work watersheds, and we work a lot of endangered species and environmental projects. HUD has money. FEMA has money. And it's not all strictly response and recovery. A lot of this is more mitigation and resilience projects. Suicide prevention, they're actually, and I wish I could think of the name right now, but there's a really great foundation, and that not specifically for the transgender population, but from a family, it was one of the family foundations that had a family member commit suicide, and now they actually have a foundation named in that child's name. And again, I love AI for doing research. What I would do is just go online, type in grants for suicide prevention. And if you want to boil it down to transgender, you can, but I would start with the 1,000-foot level and work your way down. Hopefully, some of these things are starting to make a little more sense. It's all about who you know. I cannot overemphasize that it's all about building those relationships. And again, I'm going to go back to attending a local chamber meeting or going out to these community events, because typically, particularly in the case of a chamber of commerce, it's either the person who writes the check that goes to those events or the person who works for the person who writes the check, and they'll come back and make recommendations. Manufacturers, I forgot to mention Volvo, Boeing, Susan, there are actually several opportunities for art on, I want to say, it's either HHS. I have to go back and look, but I know I've seen also many states have their own humanities councils that provide grants. They have arts councils that provide grants. Ben and Jerry's Foundation. I don't know about you, but I love a little Cherry Garcia every once in a while. Where's my environmental person? Ben and Jerry's is a key supporter of conservation efforts. This is how committed they are. Before they had their online platform, you had to write, you can note their proposals could be no longer than 2 pages, double-sided, on recycled bond paper. That is how dedicated they are to the environment. And they have, I want to say, twice a year cycles. So Ben and Jerry's. Also, other famous celebrities. I think Jimmy Fallon has a giving program. Again, it's all about doing the research. But back to business grants. We talked about FedEx, but UPS Foundation. It used to be 25,000. I think it's gone up a little more. Oh, and personal community health. Any of the major insurance carriers. Blue Cross Blue Shield is a key community health sponsor here in the state. They actually have 2 giving programs. They have a corporate giving side that does sponsorships and smaller grants, and then they actually have the Blue Cross Blue Shield Foundation that also funds particularly healthcare programs. But when I worked at the food bank, they actually equipped our community kitchen because we were doing after-school healthy meals for kids, and they actually helped us get the equipment we needed to do that production kitchen. I do want to spend a few minutes today talking about how do I know if your project's a good fit. And oops, sorry, got too far. I got ahead of myself. How do I know if I'm a good fit for Amazon? How do I know if I'm a good fit for Volvo? Go visit their website. Once you've gone around your community and made your list, and if you want to make it easier, what you can do is you go to the local chamber website, you look at their membership directory, find out who the local contact is, and set up an appointment to go meet that person. And I can't hammer this home enough. Do not, let me repeat this again, do not try to tailor your program to meet a funder's requirement. It is the quickest way to fail in a grant situation. I actually had this experience because I'm a grant writer. You know, I will promise people the world, the stars, and the moon. But unfortunately, in this instance, I did not consult with the project people who are actually going to be doing the work until after we received the grant. Please don't do what I did, because if I would have taken the time to go meet with my project person, they would have said, we don't have the bandwidth or the additional funding to do this project. And it was the one time, I think, in my almost 40-year career that we had to send money back. Again, do not try to put a square peg into a round hole. It does not work. Also, I want you to go to candid.org. Again, that's candid.org. And I want you to look up that funder's IRS 990. And I'm guessing since this is a 990 platform and class, that you all know what an IRS 990 is. Anyone want to hazard a guess why you would want to go look at a funder's 990? Why do people look at your 990? Good answer, Alice. So you know how much to ask for. Typically, they will have a list attached to their 990, who they fund in your community. And you know, funders all love partnerships. So finding out who's already getting funding in your community, talking to those folks, getting some intel on what kinds of things they are looking for, and to make sure that you are a good fit. Or is there an opportunity to partner with that organization on an expansion of another initiative? Again, you don't have to totally create something new. The other reason that you want to go to their 990, particularly in your local community, is I want to know who's on their board. Why do you think it's important to know who's on their board of directors? How about, I want to know who I know? Exactly. Alice, I'm going to keep you, I am definitely keeping you around. You are spot on. Who to reach out to. That's going to tell you who the staff is, because a 990 will have the staff list, but it will also have the board member list. And, you know, you don't want to lobby, but you can advocate and educate on behalf of your project. And Candace, spot on. Because it's more likely that they will recommend you if they know who you are, and they know if they have trust in you and what you do, then they're going to, and I had the Secretary of State's office tell me this. We were up for an award. They said, I can't tell you that you'll win this award, but I can tell you your application will be in the room based on what I already know about you. So again, another reason to go back, build those relationships. And I think we mentioned this, but at the end of the 4 sessions, we are happy to share the 7 specialized lists of funders that are funding by operations, capital expenditures, and equipment, disaster, veterans, programs for handicap that serve handicapped individuals, and faith-based initiatives, and public safety. We'll be sharing this with the group through Tax 990. It may not have everything, but it'll give you a starting point. And one of the things in the lists that we're going to provide you at the end of this course is the links on those spreadsheets are live. We've already done the research. So all you have to do is click to see if it's somewhere if it's someone that you can match with. I see that we still have a little bit of time. Who else can we think of that would have money in your community? We mentioned veterans program. VFW, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, have grants. Disabled American veterans have grants. The American Legion does grants. Hang on. I'm going to get my cheat sheet now. How many of you have eaten at Firehouse Subs, or have at least seen the ads on TV about Firehouse Subs? Firehouse Subs do both disaster and they do public safety grants. Say you're working in a school or a daycare center and you want to put an AED in your daycare center or your school. These are the types of things that Firehouse Subs funds. Oh, Candace, thank you for that. Economic development corporations. And didn't the new housing bill recently pass as well? So there's going to be additional funding through that. The new, it has a cute, catchy name, and I can't think of it right now, but how about, do you have railroads running through your town? Do you have safety concerns about some of those railroad crossings? Both CSX, Burlington Northern, I think Union Pacific, all have giving programs. Their primary concern are safety programs with bicycles. They also have, they also provide equipment to law enforcement. And again, these are just a couple more questions that I have. And now I'm going to hush and give you some time to type some questions in the chat while we still have a little bit of time left. Any questions? I just thought of another group, insurance companies. We mentioned Aflac, but like State Farm, USAA, some of those groups also have funding sources. But y'all are just really quiet today. I know I've missed something. Well, this time we talked about who might have money. In the next session, we're actually going to talk about what are the good components of a great, whoever's in the grant that said they do funding, please make yourself known. But next time, what we're going to be doing is we're actually going to talk about the components of a very solid grant proposal. And what we're going to do there is we will also provide you at the end of the course a Word template. There you go. We are a railroad preservation. All right, Thomas, you've got your homework. Thomas said we are a railroad preservation organization trying to restore a former railroad station. We're between two CSX tracks. so we should qualify to apply for their community service grant. Absolutely. Find out who your local CSX rep is. Sit down, take them a copy of your plans, invite them to be part of the project. Again, if you don't ask, you know what the answer is. And I'm going to be honest, if I had $1 for every time I've been told no in my career, I would probably be living somewhere comfortably in the Caribbean, but that doesn't mean you give up. You learn from your mistakes and you move forward. So keeping, no, and by the way, no doesn't always mean no. Sometimes no means not right now. They either already gave, and AFLAC was a perfect example of this. I went to AFLAC to ask for some funding for a specific project, and they said, well, we've already allocated what we had for the year, but sometimes we get money back, and if that happens, then we'll let you know. Oh, Wounded Warrior Project is perfect. Also, Tunnel to Towers. Tunnel to Towers actually do both home modification and home builds. Again, any of the the EOD Foundation, they have funding and they give away grants. EOD stands, by the way, for Explosive Ordnance Disposal. That was what I did in the military, so it's the only reason I know that they have a foundation. But Wounded Warrior Project, absolutely. Also, there's I want to say David Cameron, but I don't think that's correct. There are some wonderful groups. When I was writing grants for the National Guard Foundation, there were several of them that fit very well with their reintegration projects. And actually, I think VA just had a whole bunch of new grant funding hit not long ago. So make sure, Fane, that you go to grants.gov and search in the Veterans Affairs section. And actually, I just saw something that's a combination joint between VA and Department of War. They have some specific projects, community-based projects. An aviation education. We are going to provide you with what you're looking for in that case. And Tom, I understand capital projects are some of the hardest to get funding, that and operations dollars. What I would encourage you to do, and there's some great foundations in Milwaukee. Oh God, what's the name? Is it Travelers Insurance? I think that's in Madison. I would check with them to see if they have funding. Also, I'm trying to think who else in Wisconsin. And it's nice to see someone else. I graduated from UW Platteville. So I'm excited to see somebody from Milwaukee on the class. But definitely, I think it's Travelers Insurance. But that might be possible. And then at the end of the class in a couple weeks, we're also going to send you a list of possible operations and capital expense dollars. So I'm a CEO of a stand-up ref. Okay. So you're doing relocation to here in the States. Trying to think. Michael, can I get back to you on that one? I'm going to have to do a little bit of research on that one. I know there are like Lutheran services does a lot of work in that area, and they provide funding and partnership and I believe housing at some level. But let me do some checking on that one. Anyone else? We're getting close to that magic hour. Well, everyone, I want to thank you for being on today, and I hope this kind of got you thinking who might have some funds. Youth rehab, senior service, and community education. All right, Mike, I have a hot one for you. Contact your state office of Office on Aging. They typically have funding for seniors, and they also have funding to help repair senior homes that may have deferred maintenance. Youth rehab. Let me do some checking for the next one because I think I just saw something in that list that we did on youth programs. So let me do some checking on that one. Thank you. I think that someone from Tax 990 is supposed to come on and do the wrap up. But in the meantime, keep thinking. Pick out one of your funding. Oh, and there's Ashley. I'm going to turn it over to Ashley at this time. But if you think of anything else between now and next time, I'm going to start off the class with just a refresher, and then actually ask you if you've learned anything, and also any other ideas that you want to bring to the table. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Ashley.
Thank you all for joining us today. A special thank you to Mary Louise Resch for sharing your knowledge and experience with us. We truly appreciate you taking the time to help our nonprofit community better understand grant funding. We hope you found today's session valuable and that you leave with a better stronger foundation to begin or continue your grant writing journey. Be sure to join us for the next webinar in our 4-part series as we continue building on today's session. This session will be July 21st at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you again for being here, and we look forward to seeing you at our next session. Have a wonderful day.